very dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good to Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody.
Sometimes God got to strip what you got so you don't depend on yourself. Thank you, Jesus. Hey, I don't have no $100,000 a year boss, the $200,000. I got $1 boss, baby. You better think, because the Bible says, as a man thinks.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning. Welcome to the Spoken Word. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II. And as usual, we'll be telling it like it is through cultural idioms and nuances that shape the order, ethos, and chaos of the African American experience. Words have their own vitality, they shape their own consciousness and create their own context for interpreting social and spiritual reality. The spoken word contains the power to reshape the landscape of society. 6 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. And I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Barnett for bringing us up into the 9 o'clock hour with the promise. You can hear the promise every single Monday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the very best in gospel music. Good way to start out your Monday morning. Great way to start out your week. And interesting week that we have had. A little cold weather coming into here. It's like we've had a mild winter, and then all of a sudden, after having a very, very, very mild winter, um, it wants to now linger on because technically, I think tomorrow is the first day of spring. So we trying to get like 65, 75 rolling up through here, and old man winter decide, oh, I'm gonna wake up now, and I'm gonna bring the cold weather in at the end of March. Nah, man, nah. You can't be doing that, man. Going on. You missed your moment. You missed your moment, and you can you know roll on out of here. Anyway, continuing the conversation that I started on Friday on the Black Love Experience, I want to talk about um, reparations and what is old. Because of course that's always the question that always comes up. Well, we can't afford to do that much. How much do you think it's old, and why do we, as the taxpayers, we didn't have any slaves, and all of that kind of stuff always pops up whenever we start talking about reparations for the descendants of enslaved Africans. Um, they never have that conversation when it comes to paying everybody else reparations. The government just came out and said it was going to pay um, Mexican migrant workers money that they owed them. They paid Japanese Americans, and we'll go through some of the various times that America has paid out reparations. And you never have this kind of a vitriolic um, disdain about taking our taxpayer dollars to pay for reparations. You only get that when it comes to talking about paying reparations to black people. That is the only time you hear all of this pushback. And that's because America is just so anti-black. I mean, they're just anti-black.
They don't care. They'll pay reparations to Martians, and they didn't even do anything to Martians. Um, think about it for a moment. America has paid out payments to Holocaust survivors, and the Holocaust was in Germany. America had nothing to do with the Holocaust, but they don't have a problem paying money to Holocaust survivors, but we're not going to pay anything to the descendants of the Black genocide that happened right here in America, and where the American government is directly responsible. You know, we'll give money to any and everybody but them. 60 billion to Ukraine in the last year. 60 billion to Ukraine in the last year. But they can't see themselves ever trying to atone for their own sins. 246 years of chattel slavery and another 158 years of Jim Crow, sharecropping, lynching, murder, brutalization, dehumanization, segregation, mass incarceration. They can't see themselves compensating Black people for what they were directly responsible for. So we're going to talk about that. And we'll talk about those who are trying to oppose it, particularly those in our community. San Francisco, for instance, the NAACP in San Francisco said, nah, man, nah, we ain't supporting this $5 million cash payment reparation package. 413-736-2781. Rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Let's get on with this conversation. We'll be right back. Don't you go nowhere. Don't touch that dial at all. We'll be right back.
But the essence of growth has changed. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Lift your little higher, lift your little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Lift your little higher, come on, yeah. Dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Come on, but don't stop. The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate is what you tolerate. You must learn from the past, plan for the future, and live for today. For it is your daily routine that determines your success or failure in life. It's the choices that you have made up until this point that will determine the rest of your life. So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have the whole loaf. So push yourself beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop. Come on, don't stop. Reach a little higher, reach a little higher, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, go a little further, go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You gotta take it one step at a time. You gotta break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're going to always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down. Let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you got to keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Get a little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Come on. Come on. Come on. You got to understand that greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. You're just a step away. You're You're just a step away. You're just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You're just a step away. You're almost there. Come on. You got to push yourself beyond your limitations. You see, there's no mountain too high, no valley too low. You can go where you want to go. It's all in the power of your imagination. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. So stretch yourself. Take yourself to the next level. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
90.7 WTCC. Talking about reparations. Tell a friend, tell somebody. Bishop is on the air right now. Coming right back right after this.
I look in the mirror and I like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and had her share of sorrow, but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from and hit, but it just made me stronger and I refuse to quit. That's right. And though I've been tempted, I refuse to stoop to their level. Don't go down. I rose above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil. All right now. The devil who said I wasn't good enough, cute enough, or worthy of love, I kicked his butt with divine power from above. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love from me he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
.7 WTCC. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's I Like What I See by Rhonda Swan, my late beloved sister, who started out with me as the co-host of this particular show, The Spoken Word, and we lost her in 2015, and may she rest in peace. And you can check out her spoken word pieces anywhere where music is streamed. So go and give it a listen. Check it out. And check out my son, P. Swan, while you're at it. He's got some good music out there, and I think he fitting to put out some more. So, a good brother listen, okay? 413-736-2781. Good morning to each and every one of you. Juanita Beeman, thank you. I see the stars. Those of you on Facebook, y'all can put up some stars there. Those of you on Instagram, you can buy a badge to show your support. Appreciate you. There. H-Town is in the house. Good morning, Whitney, my baby girl. Well, she ain't a baby. But anyway, from Chi-Town. Good morning, good morning, good morning. H-Town is always up in the building. Rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Springfield is in the house. Man, so many people from Houston always be up in here. Man, I don't know. Maybe I ought to get me a home in Houston or something like that. I don't know. But Houston be up in here. Every radio show, Houston be in the building. I think Houston I know Springfield's supposed to be in here, but Houston be repping harder than the field do. What's up with y'all in the field, man? Y'all gonna let Houston out rep y'all? Come on, man. What's wrong with y'all? 413-736-2781 is the number here. Those that are in the Twitter space, of course, you can put your requests in. And those of you listening on social media, of course, you can put your comments in the comment section. I see y'all on the gram. I see y'all on YouTube. I see y'all on Facebook. I see y'all on Twitter. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every single one of you that are in here. Good morning, Auntie Marion. I see you in here. Now, let me see. There's a brother who said he didn't want, Brother Jason Lowe said, I don't want money. Don't want reparations in money. I want my land back that they stole, all of it. It's not, let me help y'all here. This ain't about one or the other. This ain't about picking and choosing what you get when you're old. This is what we have to understand. When you're old, you're old. You're supposed to get everything that they owe you. You're not supposed to have to pick, okay, don't give me the cash, give me the land. Don't give me the cash, give me the student loan debt relief. Give me good education. No, it's not either or, it's all of that. They owe us all of that. So it's not about, I don't want my money, just give me no, I want my money and my land. And my children to have a good education. And my debt canceled. All of the hell that we've been through for 400 years. And y'all think you gotta pick and choose what black people are owed? Reparations. Take the root word repair. Repair. Okay, if you come into my house and you wreck my kitchen and break out my windows and knock down the doors, you can't come in and just fix the door and say now it's repaired and everything else is left in disrepair. Reparations is fixing everything you broke. So when we talk about reparations, y'all have to stop talking about, this either or. We don't give us the cash, just give us good schools. We can have cash and good schools. It's not like American society. Matter of fact, we pay for the schools. We pay taxes. We deserve to have good schools based on the taxes that we pay. That ain't got nothing to do with reparations. We want investment in healthcare. We pay for that too. The insurance that we pay, the taxes we pay for that too. That has nothing to do with reparations. Stop mixing up modern day disparities that are built on systemic racism. Don't mix up fixing those disparities and dismantling a racist system as reparations. That ain't reparations. That's what ought to be done, period. So we got to stop mixing this thing up. And that's where the San Francisco NAACP got it all wrong. When San Francisco said, we're proposing to give every resident whose lineage goes back to slavery, who has been a resident of San Francisco for at least 10 years, $5 million each, and guaranteed salary for the rest of their lives of at least $97,000. I don't know where they got that figure from, but that was the figure. $9,000. Cancellation of all of their debt, and the ability to buy a home for $1. That's what San Francisco was talking about, compensating black residents. And along with NAACP, with its president, Amos Brown, who was part of negotiating that suggested package. and says, as opposed to paying out this $5 million and all of this stuff, we now, the NAACP, disagree. We want y'all to just create and fund some programs that'll improve the lives of people impacted by racism. Well, that's not reparations. They ought to be funding programs that improve the lives of people impacted by racism, but that don't have nothing to do with the debt that is owed. Nothing to do with it at all. So they said, listen, we just want y'all to invest in education. All right. We want y'all to invest in healthcare. We want y'all to invest and build us a community center. Instead of giving all the Black residents $5 million in cash, so they can pass on generational wealth and build their own institutions and give them living wages for the rest of their lives, and cancel all their debt and allow them to get into a home debt-free and be able to pass that home down to subsequent generations, building additional generational wealth. We don't want that. Just build us a community center and give us the stuff that you should be giving us anyway. That ain't reparations. That's insanity. To even try to trade away what we're owed for what should be done anyhow. That's like me telling, if the city of Springfield decided wanted to give reparations, and I decided to issue a statement from the NAACP and say, you know what, just give us some good schools and pick up the trash in our neighborhood and fund some programs at the community center, stuff that they already should be doing, stuff that we're already paying for. We're already paying for our trash to be picked up. We're already paying for our school system that should be good to educate our children. Why would I trade in a debt that's owed for them to do what they should be doing anyway? Maybe y'all need to learn what reparations is about, because there's some coon talk when Black people start saying that kind of crazy stuff. That's coon talk. And for the Black people who are not affected, and what I mean by not affected, not saying they're not affected by systemic racism, but whose ancestors were not affected by slavery. Y'all got to stop talking down on reparations just because you wouldn't qualify for it. Because we got a lot of that happening. We got a lot of Black people in America who are from the Caribbean, from Africa, from various places, who are not descended from enslaved Africans in America. And so because their lineage would not qualify them for reparations, they talk down on reparations. No, we should just invest in stuff that's going to benefit all of us. So I'm confused by that. I'm confused by that. So if somebody owes me money, wouldn't it be crazy if my siblings, if my brothers and sisters said, you know what, don't pay Talbert, the $1,000 you owe him. Give us all some money. Do something that's going to benefit all of us, even though they don't owe them nothing. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? That's how y'all sound. That's how you listen. I love Black people across the diaspora, from every walk of life. I don't care if you're from Haiti, Jamaica, whatever country you are, from Africa, even from Europe, even from all, Australia, wherever you are from as black people. I love all of y'all. But stop trying to throw shade at black Americans and what's owed to us because of the labor of our ancestors that built this nation that y'all keep coming to for opportunity. If it wasn't for our ancestors, y'all wouldn't even be coming here. And we're sick of y'all trying to talk grimy about foundational black Americans. Stop that. Cut it out. Then y'all get here and claim you ain't black. I know black. Yeah, okay. Then you become black soon as the cops go upside your head. Then you black. Then it's Black Lives Matter. Yeah, okay. Y'all ain't slick. Y'all ain't slick. Jumping on the side of our enemy because you won't get reparations. No, cut that out. Stop that foolishness. It's a debt that's owed. My ancestors were enslaved in America. Okay? Enslaved in Alabama. Migrated to Mississippi after emancipation. And then during Reconstruction, came up north and to the Midwest and other parts of the nation. Our family is old. Yours may not be, but don't try to block the blessing that we should get because it's not owed to you. Stop that. Cut it out. Stop being a tool of white supremacy. Because that's what you are when you do that foolishness. That's exactly what you are. Let me get HB in here. HB, you're in the space. That's exactly what you are when you do that foolishness. Unmute your mic, HB. You got the microphone. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bishop, and good morning, family.
Yes,
can you hear me well?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I got to make this real quick. First of all, there's a couple of things that do need to get out the way right quick. When it comes down to other people, when it comes down to other ethnicities who may come to this country and receive greater freedoms than what we may receive here in America, Black Americans may receive. People come up here talking about you paying for nothing, you had $0 in your pocket. And you don't understand that you people have a lot of amenities when you get here. Along with reparations, it's not just money, it's land.
Mm-hmm.
We are to do. I'm sorry, I took my earpiece out. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Along with reparations, we are to do an overabundance of amount of land.
Mm-hmm.
And we need, when people sit up here and talk about we need to put that money towards schooling and all this other different stuff, just give us our money and let us do what we choose to do with it.
Thank you. All
right? It's not nobody else's concern, even certain black people. It's nobody else's concern.
Well, that's black people talking that
money.
Black people are talking that foolishness. If you give the black people the money,
well,
they're gonna go out and they're gonna buy Mercedes. They're gonna buy this. So what? Whatever. If I'm owed money, I have the right to do what I want to do with my money.
A lot of black people are tired of fighting. We tired of fighting, and a lot of people get white friends that may have been kind to them for one situation or another, and they feel like that's overall white people. No, it's not. We gotta get better within ourselves. We need to get better within ourselves, but nobody should have a say in what we do with anything when it comes down to our money or our land.
Yeah.
And that's a big holdup. with us.
We got to stop
Because, like I
parroting
said, the
their
whites are
talking
so
points.
deceitful. This is one of their divide and conquer tactics.
Yeah, and
Just
sometimes
give us our money.
and it's working among feeble-minded black people who start parroting those same exact talking points about what we gonna buy, what we gonna do, the money gonna be gone, and such a time. Listen, if you owe me $1,000 and I decide I want to take it down to MGM Casino, I don't gamble, but if I did, it's my money. Nobody has the right to say, well, I'm not gonna pay you your money, because all you gonna do with your money is AB. How are you gonna say you ain't gonna give me what you owe me because of what I might do with my money? That sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy as hell. And another thing too, if the situation happened to where all Black Americans, foundational Black Americans specifically, get reparations, we definitely need to come up with a separation plan as to where we can govern ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Another problem is the government.
Yeah.
And the government got so much controls over how they educate us, our neighborhoods, and our communities in which we make live in. They got so much say and so much control over our money, essentially. We have to figure out a way to divide from that, because we can't move forward as long as they continue to control every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
That has to end.
Absolutely.
And I need Black people to wake up and see that it's 2023. It's been 160 years
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of months since the Emancipation Proclamation been signed.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, we are still not free.
Mm-hmm.
We only got a handful of billionaires in America.
And we have more black people in prison today than we had enslaved people at the time of emancipation. And we know that prison is just another form of slavery. Matter of fact, it even says it. When they passed 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, when they passed the amendment abolishing slavery, they said it shall be abolished in all parts of America except for those convicted of a felony. So technically, those behind bars are slaves. So we have more slaves today than we did at the time of emancipation.
And you have to know, I mean, everybody has to know that Black people didn't create conditions in which may have put us in that position. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that everybody is not a criminal, although a lot of people have been falsely accused and falsely imprisoned. There are those who may not have been, but there are reasons, and white folks
absolutely
created that condition.
They want to ignore the reason.
This is
They want to ignore the fact that poverty breeds violence. They want to ignore the fact of the systemic conditions that drive people to criminal behavior. And they want to act like criminality is just inherent in blackness. When we also understand that they profile us, they set us up, they falsely accuse us, they give us harsher sentences, they mass incarcerate us. So we understand the whole criminal injustice system is a farce to begin with. Appreciate your call, brother. 413-736-2781. If you're in the Twitter space, put your request in. And we'll get you on the air. Listen, reparations is a debt that's owed. It's not a handout. It's not an entitlement. It's not black folks begging for something that they don't deserve. Once again, it's a debt that is owed. As a matter of fact, let me find and see these melanemic people always trying to quote Dr. King about I have a dream, and they only quote one quote from the I have a dream speech about not being judged by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. And he wasn't talking about white folks. They then appropriate that to themselves as if he was talking. He said, let's be clear. He said, I have a dream that my 4 little children would not be judged by the color of their black skin, but by the content of their character. Would not be judged, let me help you, by white people. Would not be judged by a white supremacist nation based on their black skin, but by the content of their character. He wasn't even talking about white folks. He wasn't even talking about y'all. And y'all keep misquoting MLK as if you were part of that equation. Wasn't talking about y'all. He was talking about y'all as the ones who were judging his children, you know, and ascribing certain characteristics to them based on their blackness. He wasn't talking about don't judge white folks by the color of their skin. What the heck is wrong with y'all? Y'all always gaslighting stuff. And so then they want to take that little part of his speech and ignore everything else that Dr. King had to say. Well, I'm going to play this short clip where he talks about economics and reparations. Because that is what they don't want to hear.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear what MLK said? He was planning on going back to Washington. All right. I believe that speech was from 1967, the year before he was assassinated. He was planning another march on Washington. And he said, when we come to Washington, we coming to get our check. He was talking about reparations. Okay. He didn't say invest in schools and do this. He said, do for us, the people who built this nation, what you did for white immigrants that came over here and did nothing for America. That walked in the door, assimilated based on their whiteness, and were able to get privileges and resources that black folk who were born in this nation for several generations could never get. We coming to get our check. Okay? Quote that if you're going to quote MLK. Let me get a Mia Hampton in here. You're going to quote MLK, quote that, run, tell that. Okay? Tell that when you jump online talking about Bishop MLK would be so ashamed of you. All that foolishness you be up there saying, you know, what MLK would think and what MLK would do. What make y'all such experts on what MLK would do? I mean, how do you ignore MLK's entire body of work? You haven't read one book that he wrote. You ain't read none of his speeches. You definitely didn't read his letter from a Birmingham jail. You definitely did not listen to the whole I have a dream speech, because you only quote one sentence from that, and that's only a 17-minute speech. Come on, man. Olufemi, I hope I'm calling your name right. I'm putting you in the space. Unmute your mic. You got the mic. 413-736-2781 for those that are in the valley who want to chime in. Olufemi, unmute your mic. Going once. Going twice. All right. Come back and unmute your microphone. All right, those of you trying to get in the Twitter space, when you get in, when you hear me call your name, unmute that mic and get ready to speak your piece. That's the MLK they don't want to talk about. The MLK that was for reparations. And you know they try to use MLK as a talking point against reparations. MLK would never want a handout. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't want a handout. He would want America to pay what's owed. That's why he said, we coming to get our check. All right? We're going to try you again, Olufemi. We're going to try you again. You're in the space. Unmute your mic. 413-736-2781. All right. He's having some trouble getting his mic unmuted. So we're going to get somebody else up in here. There you go. There you go.
Brother Bishop, how are you, sir?
I'm good. You having trouble unmuting that mic? You having trouble unmuting that mic? Go ahead, brother.
Well, I wasn't on top of my game here, but to speak to the subject that you're discussing about reparations, I was just thinking about it when I saw you, when I saw that you were speaking on the subject, and obviously, given the great respect I have for you, I thought it would be a good idea to just share a few thoughts with you on the subject.
Go ahead.
Yes, I hear people talking about reparations, but I think we are all mature enough and sensible enough to know that we'll never get a dollar, a penny in reparations. We can use it as a claim, as a campaign, as a something to campaign with, a campaigning strategy. But in reality, it's a road to nowhere. It's a road that is going nowhere. And I think we really need to face that and address the real issues.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Yes, sir?
Are you saying we should give up on that? Imagine for a minute if those of our ancestors that fought to get us out of slavery had that mindset, that it's a road to nowhere, we're never going to get up out of here. Imagine if Harriet had given up on going back and freeing people. Imagine if MLK and those of his generation.
My dear brother,
wait. Imagine if they had.
Sorry to interrupt you, my dear brother.
No, you can't interrupt me. No, you can't interrupt. Imagine if they had given up on trying to pass legislation so we would have the right to vote, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where would we be? Where would we be? So while I agree that it looks bleak, that those and I'm getting to you, caller, in a minute, that those that hold the levers of power are going to be reluctant to ever try to compensate us for anything. But I don't think we should take the mindset that it's a road to nowhere, because that leaves people in despair and to give up. And I think we should continue to fight. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Bishop. It's Amia. I was trying to get on Curve, but I think I have janky service.
All right.
Yes, sir. I'm a little off topic, but my question is, So what do you think about the OMB public testimonies last week? And the consensus is that Black Americans that have been here for 500 years, that we want to finally delineate from the continent of Africa so that we can finally have our true census numbers. What do you think about that?
Explain that for the audience so we have a better understanding.
So, okay, you know, in the census, when we all check Black/African American, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are saying that because African Americans are basically, they come over here, like you said before, they don't know that they're Black until they hit our shores of America. Let's keep it that way. They want to be called Nigerians. When they come over here, they should still be called Nigerians. But it's different because they are Black immigrants from the African diaspora or Black immigrants from the Afro-Caribbean. We are saying that we need our own special designation for census information, for just statistics, period. So we want it to show like just Black Americans, as in we've been here for 500 years versus immigrant Black Americans. It's to delineate so we can disaggregate the data.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree with it. I completely agree with it that those who are have lineage that is based here, and what I mean by that, we who enslaved people, but we've been here for generations. My family's been in America for about 8 generations, and I think we should have a separate designation. I give you a classic example. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, we had all kinds of people, including coonish Black people, who were congratulating him, saying now Twitter is owned by an African American because he's from South Africa and is an American citizen. So they termed him as an African American. I think we need a clear designation for those of us who have lineage that's based here in America. I think I lost Amia, but yeah, that I agree with it. 413-736-2781. Let me see. HB is back in the place. What's good, brother? Good morning. Okay, let me move on. Let me get Untouchable J is in the place. 413-736-2781. For those of you who, matter of fact, I keep forgetting to put the number here on the screen so y'all can get in here. Untouchable, you got the mic. Let me get the telephone number up here so y'all can get in here. There we go. Untouchable is still connecting. But listen. Once again, they always try to conflate, and they talk about calculating reparations. What is it that we would have to pay? Why should we have to pay? Yada 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 yada. We didn't enslave anyone. You weren't held as slaves, and they try to pretend like there's no correlation for the current status of African American people. And there I go using the term that sister was just talking about. That there's no correlation between the enslavement of our people and what's happening now. And of course there is. But when you check the record, I mean, just do the math, man, and look at how many people that have been compensated over and over and over again. They have found a way to calculate what other people get, but then they always have a reason as to why Black people shouldn't get reparations, and try to act dumbfounded as to what would be owed. America, they compensated slaveholders. At the time of emancipation, Abraham Lincoln said, you know what? Okay, we're going to give you all $300 per slave for the loss of property. They still considered us property, even at the time of emancipation. They compensated slaveholders. They gave slaveholders reparations. Okay? They've compensated various tribes of Native Americans. Check the record. Go Google it right now. Go on Wikipedia or wherever. And you can find billions of dollars that were paid out to various Native American tribes. They compensated Japanese Americans for being interned for 3 years during World War II. They came up with a calculation and said, yeah, we'll give them $20,000 each. And they compensated them. Now, if y'all paid them $20,000 each for 3 years, what y'all think y'all owe us for 400 years of all the stuff you did to us? They just recently came out talking about how they're trying to find the relatives of Mexican migrant workers so they can compensate them money that's owed. So it's like, white slaveholders, y'all get reparations. Native Americans, y'all get reparations. Japanese Americans, y'all get reparations. Mexican migrant workers, y'all get reparations. Holocaust survivors, even though it didn't happen here, y'all get reparations. Black Americans, y'all need to learn how to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's always the message. And Democrats are no better than Republicans when it comes to this. Biden and them ain't trying to hear no reparations. They ain't talking about no reparations. They haven't tried to advance anything around reparations. But they're giving away the store to everybody else. Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, y'all get a hate crime bill. Jewish Americans, y'all get a hate crime resolution. LGBTQ, y'all get a hate crime executive order. Ukrainians, y'all get $60 billion. Israel, y'all get $4 billion a year. Black people, y'all get nothing but just keep voting for us. And what we do, run to the polls and say, we can't let Trump get in, so we got to vote for the Democrats, even though they're not going to give us nothing. And no, I'm not a Republican operative. Y'all know that. There wasn't a black minister in America that was harder on Trump than me. So y'all not going to pin that on me. I'm for black people. And I'm going to call out anybody who's not working in our best interest, whether they are Democrat or Republican. Dempublican or Republicrat. Sometimes it's the two wings on the same buzzard. So let's just keep it a buck. And if you don't believe it, during the Democratic primary, they was talking about reparations during the primary. Soon as Jim Crow Joe was winning the primary, all that conversation stopped. They ain't even talking about advancing the bill to study reparations no more. That whole reparations ain't even in the Democrats' vocabulary right now. They are not talking about it at all. It's not good politics to talk about reparations. Forget that, black folk. Y'all just gotta talk about something else. All right? Concerned Black American, let's see if we can get you in there. I don't know why we can't get Untouchable Jay in here. Unmute your mic, brother, sister. I don't know which one you are. Unmute. You're in the space.
Good morning, Bishop. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm a lady most of the time. But I appreciate the conversation and bringing it back to reparations now. And for us to understand how the Democrats are running from this total topic. And I just wanted to point out in San Francisco, the fact that we have about 10,000 eligible recipients out there, and how racism can make you so ignorant that you would say that pumping $970 million into the Black American San Francisco would make the state go bankrupt. That's ridiculous. And San Francisco can definitely pay. They make about $10 million a year in revenue, and we deserve everything that we can get. I think they should put that $5 million each in a trust for each of the recipients, and that'll throw off the interest as well, and let them buy their $1 house. I wanted to point your attention to a recent activist, a civil rights activist group that came out against San Francisco reparations, in line with the San Francisco NAACP, which we know all NAACPs are not created equal, thank goodness. And shout out to you, Bishop. Thank goodness. But just the abject betrayal. But we see how these entities are, showing their true colors, and coming out and against their own people, and how the role that they play to basically manage us and keep us at the bottom, and that they would be so bold as to go in print and be able to, or think that they can justify saying that we shouldn't pay anything out, that money won't fix poverty and crime. So the lengths that they're going to, they deserve the shame that the GOP is bringing on them. And I want to just say shout out to us for embracing this position that we're in, where we might actually finally be able to leverage the Dems and the Republicans against one another, to use the GOP and their history. They are the ones responsible for Reconstruction and letting it fail, letting the Democrats destroy Reconstruction. If we really look deep, the Democrats are behind every single policy that has undermined us. And we think that this OMB and the designation is about, we don't want these Negroes to know where they from. No, we don't want these people to know what policies are actually specifically for them, like the 14th Amendment, which is not for anyone else. It's only for us. And there's other legislation that's been uncovered. So I just think that this is a great time, and I hope you keep talking. I know you will. I look forward to the conversations we're going to be able to have on this presidential cycle, but I think we should drive the knife in. I think we should push everyone's back up against the wall. It's time to collect.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Listen, y'all, I wish I had more time. I got to get out your way. Mid-Morning Jazz is coming up momentarily with Mrs. Cynthia Butler. April 12th, I want to remind you that the Lift Every Voice lecture series continues. That's a Wednesday. It's off from the Thursdays that we've been doing. It's a Wednesday. And Dr. Vicki Irvin, who is a Springfield native, all right, actress, author, entrepreneur. She is going to be here in the city of Springfield, and you all really need to come out and hear what she has to say. Now, listen, once again, if you missed the first 3 lectures, man, I'm telling you, Dr. Keith Motley, who's now having a dormitory named after him, the first dormitory on the campus of UMass Boston, as a matter of fact, was dynamic. Dr. Wes Bellamy was dynamic, and Teslin Figaro was dynamic. And I know Dr. Vicki Irvin is going to be as well. So you need to come on out and be a part of the Lift Every Voice lecture series at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street on April 12th. That's the day my grandson is due to be born, but I'm trying to get him to hold out for 12 days so he could be born on his papa's birthday. So y'all pray for me so that little Messiah doesn't come until April 24th, so we can celebrate the same birthday. Now, my daughter is looking at me sideways. She's like, I'm ready to have this baby right now. Forget waiting until your birthday. Anyway, I got to get out your way. I'm looking for a place to worship. Check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Sunday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. Prayer, praise, and preaching. You'll be inspired. You'll be empowered. All right, Mid-Morning Jazz is coming up next. Don't y'all go nowhere. Don't touch that dial until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me. Always remember, God loves you, and so do I. Peace.